That moment is worth more to me than $750,000. Like, my biggest hope for this podcast is that people who come for the reality TV stuff stay because they're wrestling and processing some theme or controversy or thought that's stirring in their heart and soul about how to continue to move forward. Being controversial and dramatic is not the only way to propel yourself forward and to create opportunities for yourself. That is an absolute lie, specifically behind reality TV, that I'm willing to shine a light on. Second episode of the Figured Out podcast, and Mikey, where we left off episode 1, this is what people want to know.
I'm frustrated. We left off at episode 1 the way it did.
At the climactic point, talking about can I just say, like, maybe the most iconic part of Big Brother season 26, and how I got etched into Big Brother history.
There's still commercials. I told you that I was on an airplane and I was watching a golf tournament on CBS, and that commercial came on, and it was just you and crazy eyes all over the screen.
There is no revenge any sweeter than the fact that any hater in my life is going to have to go to Lifetime and work out on the treadmill. They're going for a walk, and then, oh my gosh, there's Matt on my TV screen. Oh my gosh, I'm on a Delta flight.
Yep.
And here's a commercial of Matt. Yep. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting on my couch at home. There's a commercial of Matt.
You're definitely holding the record for more marketing time for Big Brother than air time for Big Brother. There's no doubt about it.
That's such a great way to put that. It's so true. I probably have more marketing time than air time. That's hilarious.
100%.
I think this is what people are going to be really interested to talk about. And, for the first time, I've honestly held off talking about it a lot. I've talked about it a little bit on social media, but I really haven't wanted to, abruptly address it, directly address it, until we were in a more controlled environment like this. And so, honestly, I'm happy to talk about it, and I'm excited to talk about it because there's a lot of misconception. There's a lot of themes I think that are going to be challenging and helpful for people. And obviously, I have been thrown into Big Brother history. What's so funny, bro, and let me just vent for this about a second if you're listening. What's been hard for me at times has been so many people did so much more than me on the show. And so many people played so much more game. They made so many more moves. They made it farther, obviously. And it's just not that important in the story of Big Brother 26.
Nope.
And if I can just be honest, it's been hard for me because I wanted to be family with my cast.
Yeah.
And I feel like at times there can be some resentment
for missing out on that.
Yeah, I don't know what it may be, resentment because I don't think anybody from our season expected to get out and think that I grew in popularity more than them, which is not under my control. Sure. I went through a unique experience and it was what it was. But
most people that get evicted first, it's typically we had no one else, man. You're on the block. No one hates each other just yet. You see ya, right? You're just on the block. Yours was very different.
Very different.
It was as if we were mid-season.
100%. And it was a unique situation. And I think when we got out, a lot of people, it was weird, man. When we were at reunion, the season had wrapped up, I felt like I couldn't wait to reconnect with these people. We had gone through this unique situation, and I was so pumped, man. I've been watching them on live feeds and on episodes, and I couldn't wait. And I felt like a lot of people didn't think I was going to be as relative as possible, and didn't know if we're just being straight up, was probably the biggest story of the season. But there's intricacies to that story that I think that gets left out. And that's why I'm excited to talk about it.
We're going to dive into it, man.
Yeah.
There are 3, and I make the joke about lack of airtime, but I feel like there are 3 pivotal moments for Matt on Big Brother. It was what we're about to dive into, that moment, right? And everyone knows that one. Then there's your relationship with Mackenzie. And then there's the triangle relationship, you, Leah, and Mackenzie, and that kind of unfolding. So for the sake that you weren't there very long at first evicted, there's a lot of Matt to be told about Big Brother. But I think the biggest one, for sure, is the name that shall not be mentioned, crazy moment.
Right. And, let me just say, there was a lot robbed from viewers. I'm just gonna say that. That's my opinion. This is my podcast. I get to talk
You can
about
say
what
that.
I
You
want.
can say whatever you want.
There was so much more for me to give, and I do think that viewers were robbed. Not just that I was robbed. Viewers were robbed.
Totally.
And there's people in our cast, bro. I'm just gonna be straight up. This is my podcast.
You can say whatever you want.
Floated to the end. Floated so far.
Yep.
And it did not contribute jack crap to the season.
Yep.
And they weren't very entertaining. They didn't really make a lot of moves. And I would have not been that.
No.
That was the only beef I had being at home, was the fact that I'm sitting here watching people make non-entertaining TV, and I'm sitting at home saying all that I had to offer, I did not get the opportunity to offer. So, I mean, that's how I feel. If you disagree with it, chop this up and put it on Twitter. I welcome you.
The production,
please do.
The production of Big Brother would have loved you and Angela to beef it out for weeks on end. I mean, that would have been...
Bro, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I remember in the moment thinking, I mean, I don't know much about reality TV. I remember thinking, if this stuff is not real, like, I am going to get the opportunity to fight. And they're going to drag this out.
Yeah, 100%.
I think one of the top two biggest questions I get, and so many people come up to me in public and ask me these two questions. So many. And I get asked in my Instagram DMs all the time, TikTok, whatever. They ask me, is that lady that crazy in real life? And they ask me, was that real? To which I both answer yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Easy. Got one word.
That is actually who that lady is. And two, to me, that was real. Like, what happened in that situation when she came down those steps for me was 100% real. I can be skeptical. I even have a couple theories about thinking to myself.
I know some of your theories.
I may think like, hey, I don't know, something may have happened, some little may have happened. But to me, I'm like, that was real for me. Yeah. I genuinely woke up. Bro, like, if you even look and pay attention, I'm so sorry. If you are in the production team of Big Brother and watching this, you had to go, you can watch this if you're listening as well, go and watch all the edits of this moment. And basically, I'm wearing a hat with a logo on it. And in the most pivotal moment of the entire season, somebody had to go through and edit like a logo out of my hat so many specific, intricate times. And I'm so sorry if that's you and you're watching this, but I was not prepared for that moment. It was genuinely the moment I woke up. I didn't even have coffee yet. I mean, we just woke up, we're in the kitchen, we're half asleep. I'd probably have stayed up all night trying to flirt with Mackenzie. And let's just be honest. And we just woke up. That was totally real for me. That's the number one question I get asked. Do you think that moment was scripted?
Can I speak for the scripter people? Everyone was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Everyone. Hanging. And again, we're watching the edited version of this. So God knows what brought you guys together, what you guys are talking about besides you guys. We're watching this edited version, the one they want us to see. But then all of a sudden, in perfect unison, as if it's a curtain call, Angela comes walking down, clapping. And my favorite part about this is other people start clapping.
Dude, you're so right.
Like, oh. Start clapping.
I mean, I started clapping, bro.
I think you did.
I started clapping.
It's just so funny
like,
to me.
literally to me, nobody knew this was happening.
Right.
And I will say, like, I think for Crazy Lady, a lot of people were getting, like, concerned. And prior, she goes to bed with outside influences, tell her to go to bed, and she goes to sleep earlier than anybody else in her HOH room because she's, like, starting to not seem okay. And I think everybody was kind of like, what's going on, you know?
Right.
And I remember at the time, the first couple of days thinking, man, nobody's playing game. And I almost got nervous. I'm like, I'm playing game too quick. Piece of that is true. But I'm thinking to myself, nobody's playing game. Everybody's being so nice. Nobody's building alliances, and we're days away from like when you need to have some stuff figured out. And I remember thinking like, I may be playing the game too quick. This is before I got so much beef, bro, from people saying I held what do you call it? Like counsel in the food room or whatever. Like study sessions, like office hours. Office hours.
Yep.
That is hilarious to me. Kudos to everybody that came up with that. But for me, I'm like, nobody was playing game.
Sure.
I'd already kind of made this thing with Kenny pretty quick. And so when she walks down, literally nobody in the house has an alliance. Zero. Some people are moving. At the time, I didn't know, like, the Pentagon was moving. Joseph was moving with this thing. Joseph and Quinn were moving with this thing. but nobody has a solidified alliance. And at the time, I'm thinking to myself, this lady has just came for me. She's constantly talking about how I look, constantly talking about the stereotype that I'm nervous people will perceive me by, which is unfair.
Yep.
And exactly what I'm trying to avert people from thinking about me. How am I supposed to think she's not targeting me? And what was not featured in the episode, in the HOH episode that she wins, I'm thinking to myself, we got to win this HOH. She, like, bro, oh my gosh. I'm telling you right now, Mikey, people are going to tell me how dumb I am for talking about this, but this is genuinely what happened. Everybody from my cast knows this is exactly what happened. In the first HOH, it's that stupid little puck game. It's like a glorified shuffleboard.
Yep.
And they give us all one throw as a practice round. It's like 1 to 15, something like that. And my first throw, I do this. 14. People are like, yo, Matt is going to be good at this. First real round comes around. I roll 14 back to back. And people are like, oh, shoot, Matt could win this. And then honestly, I misunderstood the rules. I thought that we were going to get to go twice. We ended up only getting to go once against Kenny and Quinn, who were on my little group. And so I ended up playing it safe, and Kenny ended up scoring a higher roll than me. But in my last round, I used to do this thing where I would push it like this. I would go like one throw, and then go to kind of get a feel for the wheels before I slid it. And Angela looks at me, and she mocks me rolling it because I had just rolled 2 14s back to back. And she's like mocking me about it. And I was like, bro, this lady wants to smoke.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I'm like, bring it. And at that time, she's mocking me, but it played into my line of thought that I'm like, this lady's gunning for me. Why is she mocking me?
And this is
right
after the showman's conversations or before?
Yeah, this is after she's been talking. She's telling the whole house like, Matt's so attractive. Matt's so meh. Which is like crazy to me. Like, why sit and look at me knowing that being in a showman's is such a target, and then highlighting everything about how I look, and then specifically saying, this guy is going to end up in a showman's. That is unfair.
To me, if she was already HOH, this makes sense. Like, you got to figure out how to find blame,
on
take
somebody.
blood off your hands without just on somebody. You have to do it. You got to evict somebody. But before, it was a direct attack.
It was a direct attack, and anytime that she says that it wasn't is absolute bullcrap.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just is. I don't really care what anybody else says because she will refuse to wake up to the fact that she put a target on my back. And then things just so happen that she ended up winning the power that week. And again, like discussed in the previous episode, I don't regret the decision I made to go talk to her about it. It was a risk.
Yeah.
It was a gameplay move, and I don't regret it. It did not work out in my favor, and I accept that.
No, not.
But I don't regret the decision at that time that I made, thinking we could work through and power through conflict together and create a cool moment with one another, trust with one another, because we worked through something difficult before anybody else in the house did.
Yep. I
don't regret that at all. And I would have made that move 10 times out of 10, and it didn't work out, but I still would have made it 10 times out of 10. When you get off the show, you start to think to yourself, what would happen if I just done things differently? That's one I don't ever see myself making differently, because it's totally valid. And if anybody chooses to want to not understand it, kick rocks. I don't care. I genuinely don't care.
Speaking of kicking rocks, that's what you did shortly after this moment with Crazy Lady. What were you thinking in that moment? I mean, she's HOH. She's the power. She is directly coming downstairs to have beef with you in front of quite literally everybody.
Yeah. Well,
what are you thinking?
So to me, I'm starting to process, like, I signed up for reality TV and I put my life like subject for what could happen. And I totally accept the consequences of that. And I remember thinking to myself, like, she's just trying to make this crazy move. And like, that is what it is, right? Like, I'll take that and deal with it, right? Because to me at the time, the AI arena gave me a confidence, right or wrong, that the fact that anything could happen and there's still a chance, no matter what anybody else thinks, that I could get myself out of the situation. So I started thinking to myself, she is just trying to make this crazy move to target me. It is what it is. And if that happens, it's either like, great move you made on me, and I have to like tip my hat to that, but I've got a chance to pull myself off. For sure. It is what it is.
Right.
Honestly, I respect the move. If like, it's crazy to me. Like if I were to go back on Big Brother or advise somebody going on Big Brother, I'm like, if you're the first HOH, just blow up on somebody. Because everybody is going to be like, oh, shoot, the HOH is upset. We should just do what they say, which is true. But I'm like, I did not do what she said that she did. But here's the problem. And this is what I really care to talk about.
Okay.
And again, if you're watching or you're listening and you disagree, I don't care.
I think it's kick rocks.
Kick rocks. Yeah. I genuinely don't care. This is my opinion.
Yep.
And this is what I think is true. And I could care less about what you think about the situation because you're not the one who went through it. And I was.
Yeah.
And
this is your podcast.
This is my podcast and you're here listening to me and I don't care what you have to say about it. To me, the problem was she made a move on me, which she has every right to do. The crazy lady has every right to make a move on me. I was a threat to her. I was gunning for her. She came in playing the game harder than anybody else in the house. She was more like paranoid than anybody else in the house. I don't regret it at all. And we would have had to come for her at any point. That lady never wins the game. No. And people will sit and to this day try to talk about, oh, she was a great player. She brought back older brother, blah, 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 blah. That lady never wins the game, ever. But she makes this move, which doubles down on the fact she's never going to win the game. And I respected that move. I respected it to say, you are targeting me, who's a threat to you. I get it.
There's no way, though, and I'm speaking for you for a second, that in that moment where she comes down, and again, you don't know that she is coming down for you or why she's coming down so aggressive, but in that moment when she comes down and the way she addresses you, that this is gameplay. I mean, you must have just been thrown off. I mean, you're just minding your business downstairs with everybody else. Did you take a minute to know how to react? Did you think about the game in that moment? Or are you just like, yeah, I'm just going to react here?
Yeah, so this is probably the biggest thing I want people to take away from that situation. And again, I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is the biggest piece I want people to take away from the situation, given the context that you and I just spoke about everything that was happening in my life prior, which is a lot of mistrust, a lot of learning to forgive, a lot of learning to heal and grow, a lot of learning to adapt with moving forward in my heart, my soul, and my mind.
Yep.
All these things I've been learning. This is where I meet in that moment to think that I understand the gameplay of the situation. And honestly, I applaud her for it. If she would have left it at just trying to paint me up as a target,
sure,
I would have been like, great move. And I get it. Like, I totally get it. But where it steps out of the boundaries is the fact that she made the claim that I aggressively threatened her in her room alone. Now, I come from the South. I come from a small town in Georgia where getting accused of being aggressively threatening to a woman is a very serious claim. It's a claim so serious that there's friends, mentors, and adults in my life that would beat the hell out of me if that were ever true. Yep. That the fact that if somebody were to ever aggressively threaten a woman, that is a very serious claim. Now, here's what happens, and you can see happening in so many other reality shows that happen with Love Island, that happens with The Bachelor, that things that you bring in or maybe display about yourself or what you brought into the show about the way that you lived your life determined to be ruining towards your real life. Yep. That if people go into a dating show with a girlfriend, or they end up going into a reality show and they say some racist crap that you get on the outside, your life's ruined. Yep. That's one thing you sign up for in reality TV. And I felt like at the time when she said I aggressively threatened her in her room alone, she was making a claim that put my real life at stake, which I cannot stand for. I'm not going to ruin my whole entire real life. I'm 25 at the time. I'm early on in my career. At the time, I'm single. Imagine if I go forward and I interview at a different job that I just lost down the months prior. I go and interview at another job and they Google Matt Hardeman. And they say aggressively threatens woman. Yeah. You think I get that job?
Probably not.
It comes with real life fiscal implications. I have gotten jobs. I have gotten job offers because people have Googled me and said, we see the person that you are based off your time in the show. That's how I know it's true.
Awesome. And that's like an ending for the people that haven't watched Big Brother. They don't know necessarily how you handled this or how it unfolded, and more specifically how you handled it after the show. Because even your conversation with Julie and the podcast you went on with Julie, the podcast with Tyler, you had conversations about this, and you stayed pretty authentic the entire time. You have the same exact views on this the whole way through, and how you wanted to handle it, how you wanted to be seen. Let me ask you this. In that moment when something like that is happening to you on the show, is that one of the first moments you click back into the fact that there's hundreds of cameras and you have zero control of what they're about to show? Is that always in the back of your head? How does that feel in that moment?
At the moment she made that claim, which in my opinion is outside of the boundaries of what should be acceptable. And I don't give a flying F in anybody who disagrees with that, because that is life damning. As I've seen on opportunities that have come my way because of I responded positively, in the same regard, if I respond differently, impact my life negatively.
Yep.
That's what you sign up for in reality TV, and you know that going into it.
Yep.
So when she makes that claim, she makes a claim about my character that I aggressively threatened her. Nobody in the house knows what that means.
Right.
Nobody in the house knows is that verbal, is that physical, is that what does it mean? And it never gets clarified. That is outside the boundaries of the game, in my opinion.
Yep.
2, she makes a claim about my mom, which I do think is within the boundaries of the game, but it's still super fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, every single person, as if you listen to the last episode, knows I was on the show to tell the story of my mom. And as, encouraged I was to sit and tell the story of like, here's what has happened in my life. My mom learned English through watching Julie on the show. I'm here to tell the story of my mom. I want to win the show to take the money, take my mom and my grandma back to the Philippines. They haven't been there in over a decade.
Wow.
To see their side of the family.
Wow.
That was what, if you go and watch the interviews, Matt, what will you do with the show, with the money you win from the show? I will take the money, take my mom and grandma back home to see their family.
Wow.
I've never even been in the Philippines. That was every single person in our cast knew the story behind why I was there to play the game. And she specifically took that and manipulated it back to be something so horrid, something so evil.
Right.
I think at times people will sit and debate. This lady, crazy lady, brought back old Big Brother. And we're in this new Big Brother season. She brought back old Big Brother. I'm thankful she did. I find it entertaining, which I allow people to think. I mean, who cares what I think, but I think you're allowed to think that. But in my perspective, on the person that I want to be, on the way that I view the world, there are things that happened in culture 10 years ago I do not want to continue to happen in culture today.
Fair.
There are things that happened in society that were permissible and acceptable 10 years ago that I'm glad are not permissible and acceptable in 2025.
Yeah.
And you see that reflected in a beautiful show like Big Brother that is a beautiful depiction of culture and society because it's so diverse. It's such a melting pot of people of different backgrounds. And
I mean, they do an amazing job of finding that diversity every single season.
Right. Like somebody that comes from so many different backgrounds, professions, careers, whatever it may be. But there's aspects of that have happened 10 years ago that I don't want to happen in 2025. And I don't think is right. I mean, if you look at things that have happened previously in Big Brother history, that is permissible and acceptable in that area, in that regard of that culture, of that time, that are not acceptable in today's world.
It's a whole other conversation. I vividly remember a older season of Big Brother where someone was removed from the show for doing crossing the boundary-esque things. And so I think that even Big Brother and Julie and whoever is responsible for those kind of decisions has never really wanted those on there. But obviously when it stops at verbal, and so long as it is not directly against let's think racist or some of the like more direct cultural specific things that are happening today that people are focused on, they almost encourage it. That's why we're watching reality TV. We want to see the drama. But for someone in it, for someone receiving that, I mean, I can't imagine how I would react if someone said something about my mom. Yeah. So for someone who's going on to the show and it's made it clear, like you mentioned in the last episode, for your mom and how important your mom is to you and how important this journey specifically is for your mom, I would have seen red.
Absolutely. And I think here's the two differentiations that I think we should continue to move forward with. And if somebody disagrees, they're welcome to, but I don't give a shit. Like, to be honest, is that you have what is entertaining and what is dramatic. And I think at times we think those two words are synonymous, that what is dramatic is always entertaining, but what is entertaining is not always dramatic.
That's good.
And I think that is a fault at play at times with reality TV and the way that we view it nowadays, is that we push out this rhetoric that what is only entertaining is what's dramatic. That's not true. I, for example, was thrown into a dramatic situation, but I was not a dramatic person. I did not create hate. I did not create strife. I did not create, conflict. I was an entertaining character, and I was myself and my personality involved in a dramatic situation, but I was not on the show to create any sort of drama. I was on the show to create entertainment because I have a big personality. I was going to say funny stuff. And at times I was going to poke at people, right? But that doesn't always have to be demeaning and belittling and hurtful and hateful. Hurtful, maybe.
There's a moral line for you specifically. There is a moral line. Like I'm not here. It goes back to what we said the first episode. I'm willing to go to war against you to win what it takes to win the competition, the social game. I'm willing to go to war. And then I'm gonna dab you up and say, "Hey, good game at the end."
And that's what I hate, and that's what I have conflict with to this day. I'm curious how many people would have loved to see me go to war with someone like Tucker, who, dude, played the game so entertainingly, took chances. I mean, made crazy risks.
This might be a bold statement. I'd like to hear the Big Brothers fans' opinion on this, but a great example of entertainment without drama. He caused drama, right? Because we just use that word willy-nilly. But I mean, he was so entertaining to watch, and it was really just like because he was like, "Oh, I actually am not going to hide what I know. I'm just going to tell everybody this secret and blast it out, and that's my game, and I'm going to survive doing it."
I think Tucker is the best example of this. What I'm trying to lay out is that you can be so entertaining and not be an absolute piece of crap and not belittle somebody and be evil and hateful towards somebody. That you can take risks in a game, especially like Big Brother. Huge risk, be entertaining. That's why I get so frustrated with the fact that I had to sit home and watch people who were so unentertaining and so like uncontributing to the game and just floated. That joke makes me so pissed off, especially because it's not a strategy. It's just your inability to be entertaining. And I don't care what anybody else has to say about it. Tucker's the best example of the fact you can not be a piece of crap and be so entertaining. And I feel like that's what got flipped on the head with the crazy lady, is the fact that she wanted to be so dramatic, thinking that's what creates entertainment, knowing a certain subsection of culture and reality TV culture would grab onto it. And that's what she got. But I'm sitting here today saying she has 1/4 of the followers I have on Instagram. I can assure you that as much as media, social media, whatever BS wants to tell you that she's as popular as she is, can you even wrap your mind around with me for a second? How many people come up to me and ask me how evil that lady was?
Right.
I've had people at concert venues pull me out of my seat in the stands and be like, "Hey man, I just bought you a drink. Cheers to the fact, F that lady." And I'm not sitting here like cheersing to say like, "Yo, F that lady," but like people are pulling me out of my seat. Concerts, public, bars, restaurants. I've had my dinner paid for. I've got invited to professional sporting games. I've had brands want to work with me. I have my whole career now is based off brands wanting to work with me because of the way I displayed myself on the show. You're going to sit and tell me that that lady's more popular than her? Do not sit and believe what this really specific subset of culture is going to try to tell you. She's so popular because she brought back old Big Brother and made this big move. Bro, I'm not buying into that for nothing.
Her aside, crazy lady aside, I've never seen, and I could be wrong here, but I don't think I've ever seen someone be the first evicted and have as much following and fandom per se than you've had. And, of course, there's a lot of different factors. One, a lot of marketing done by Big Brother, right? Like they kept you around even though you weren't actually there. But they also, the relationship with Mackenzie was a big topic of conversation. Like, obviously, Kenzie and Leah, they kept talking about you throughout the show. Like, your name wasn't lost after you got evicted. But that moment, again, you mentioned it earlier, was probably one of the, if not the, besides some of the Tucker incidents, most pivotal moments of that show. Like most entertaining, most dramatic, most whatever word we want to use, moments of the entire season.
Yeah. And what's hard about it for me is the fact that because she made the claim, and that's why I went into the whole thing about her saying I aggressively threatened her, that has external implications that affect somebody like me at 26, at 25, that ruin your life.
And you're going into this show, like we mentioned, with a lot of changes.
Yeah.
A lot of things are happening. You decided to take this leap of faith. You know, they decided to go with you. You've now quit your job to make this happen. Bad breakup right before the show. Things are changing. You're trying to, leaving ministry not too long before that. You're trying to re-identify. You know who you are, but you don't know necessarily where you're leading who you are, where you're going with that. And someone's trying to completely derail that, like in a very gross way.
Yeah.
Something, to your point, that is life-altering, out of your control, life-altering.
Yeah.
Comes down those stairs and makes those claims. And you handled it fairly well.
Yeah. I mean, basically what I told myself, and this is why I get so fired up to talk about, and I feel like more courage to talk about now than I have previously, because I've let go of like what anybody else has to say. I do not feel like I had the opportunity to play that game. I don't feel like I had the opportunity to play the role I was meant to play in any reality show. It was completely robbed from me, because the moment that she said that, I go into the mode of saying, she's trying to ruin my freaking life. Not just my life, my family's life. My mom, who story I'm trying to tell in the show, she just attacked and said that my mom's going to be at home watching how much of a brat she raised. She's attacking the way my mom raised me, which is the whole reason I'm on the show, to talk about the struggle and the overcoming and the triumph my mom's had to fight to get into this country and then be successful and to raise her child in a good scenario.
Yeah.
My mom is like famous in my small hometown. She's worked at the same Chick-fil-A for over 20 years at the same drive-thru every morning at 4 a.m.
It's amazing.
You think the fact that this lady tries to attack how that woman raised me, how I was raised by that lady who grew up in poverty, who the only food she ate was the food they caught from the ocean, and then fought to get into America, met my dad by the grace of God and moved over here, has only worked fast food jobs for the last 20 plus years since she's been in the United States, saved up every bit to provide for my family, that this lady's attacking that on national television. And I'm going to sit here and how do I take that?
Yeah.
And so for me, I thought at the time, she said, 25-year-old stereotypical jock aesthetic looking man has aggressively threatened me alone. I don't think she will ever understand the fact that she made a comment that could have ruined my life. And she'll never apologize for it. And for everybody who's ever asked, which is probably question number 3, has that lady ever apologized? No. She's never apologized for it. She's only tried to stand on her business. And I think it's because she's seen how much publicity she's gaining from playing the villain. But the mistake that she keeps making is she tries to play the villain and also defend herself at the same time. You don't get to have those two luxuries. She's over here commenting on Facebook, comments on TikToks of mine. Like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell my story. And I'm going to use TikTok sounds that are going to talk about the situation that you may not like. But guess what? You put yourself in that situation, woman. Not me. You did that. I now get to capitalize on the fact that we're removed from that situation. I have 4 times the followers that you have. I have become a full-time social media content creator because of the situation that we engage with each other in. And I am not ever going to sit here and say, you've come out on the better end. I'm not jealous of you. I have a beautiful girlfriend I got from the show, with a beautiful life I'm trying to create from each other. We both do social media full time. That lady is lame. She's lame.
Come on now.
And I do not resent her at all. She never would have won the show from the time she made that moment. And guess what? If you disagree with me, I hope you listen to me and you're seeing it right now. I don't care.
I think the saying
do
is
not
kick
care
rocks.
what you have to say. Kick
rocks.
rocks. I
Love
don't
this.
care. I
Love
eat
this.
it up every time you come on my posts and comment on my stuff. I eat it up like
this.
candy.
Love this.
Love it. And for everybody who supported me through that, I hope that the way I responded, the model that I at the time cognitively thought to myself, to your previous question, there's hundreds of cameras around, and I've just been put in a situation where this lady could potentially have said something that could hurt my real life. I told myself, I'm going to respond in the best and most loving way I know how, which is to forgive.
And I was about to say that we are at a point where obviously talking about it, it's frustrating. And it's like, you know, and anyone that disagrees with the fact that that wasn't crazy is crazy.
It's crazy in their own regard.
Right.
Bye.
Right. So kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
But the way you actually handled it, which is what I mentioned when I say there was a lot of authenticity in who I know you to be and how you handled it throughout the podcasts after, throughout your social settings after. Yeah, of course you're going to make jokes about it. Of course we're going to talk about how it's on my Delta flight. I was joking about that. I thought that was hilarious. We're going to poke fun at it. But the way you actually handled the actual situation was with forgiveness and a whole lot of grace.
Yeah.
How do you hold that mindset in a moment like that?
Well, it's funny because like that's the part of the story and the narrative they don't want to tell you about. That's the part they don't put on the Delta flight. It's the part they don't put on the commercial, but it's a part of the story. And it's the reason if anybody with common sense would realize that my following grew so much, it's because the people that related to the fact I've been hurt in that way.
Yeah.
I have kids who've been bullied like that. I don't claim the fact that a mother should ever, or someone of that maturity and age apparently should ever respond in that regard, should ever act out so irresponsibly and so disgustingly. Yeah. That's why my following grew. That's why I grew, because I responded the way that I responded, which was with grace and forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I stick to that to this day. People tell me, oh, you still make TikToks about her. I thought you forgave her. I forgive her. I don't forget that.
Yep.
Forgiveness is not synonymous with forgetting, and I do not forget it. Yeah. And guess what? She put herself in the scenario where that's the reality of where we're at. We're going to continue to poke fun about it. That's the narrative of my season and narrative of my story on Big Brother, that I was in this conflicting situation with this crazy old lady, and I'm going to continue to harp on it and capitalize from it with no freaking remorse and no apology.
Yeah, what she did.
I forgave her for what she did on the show. But guess what? We're not playing the game anymore. There's not 100 cameras surrounded in real life. We're in real life, and you got to boss up. You want to stand on your stuff? Stand on it.
Yep.
I love it, bro. I almost wish the fact that she would continue to stand on it, because it only helps me. I love it. I love it when she continues to crash out about this stuff on social media, defend herself. Bro, it's the most sorry stuff I've ever seen in my life, and I love it.
Can I say something that everyone listening to this podcast is definitely thinking? We should bring her onto this podcast.
Bro, here's the crazy thing. And here's the crazy thing if you're listening. I truly at the time, and this is what I don't feel like a lot of people understood. When I got off the show, I was the first one out. And for a week and a half, I basically was the only connection point to season 26 after one of the most iconic moments of Big Brother history to Big Brother 26 to our season. And I got to engage with fans and the culture on my own. And nobody from our season will understand how bad it really was. Nobody. I'm talking people are calling the place this lady works to try to get her fired. They don't. Her company had to put out a statement. I'm talking Barstool Sports did an article on how terrible they thought this lady. Like, it's not even me. It's just culture.
Right.
And that's what I feel like has been suppressed about this narrative. And now that we're so deep, we're like in this time where the intermediary transition time of when Big Brother's on and it's off, that the stands and reality culture is still so active. Those are the only voices you hear. Well, boy, guess what? Big Brother 27 is around the corner, and all of my Facebook moms who have stood up for what's right, good, and loving, and has been inspirational to their family and their kids and their worldview are going to come back. Bring it freaking on. I welcome it. And
so iconic. I think the cast of this next season, I would not put it past them at all to mention that moment.
For sure.
The first dramatic moment that happens, they're going to be like, this is like that Angela and Matt situation.
I bet they'll be like, dang, that was crazy the way that lady blew up on that kid. You know, like
they're going to talk about it. They're going to talk about it.
They have to. And I'm excited to see the way they talk about it. And like, if there's anything for me that I hope people take away was that, and bro, like, let me just talk about this. because I did not talk about the SIP finale, and I was going to, like, on air, and I didn't. But you know, when I got off the show a couple weeks later, I was at the Lifetime Fitness in Woodstock, Georgia, and doing my thing, you know, and this lady comes up to me and she runs up and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you Matt from Big Brother?" And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." She's like, "Will you be here for a little bit? You promise?" I was like, "Yeah, I just got here, you know, I'm just warming up. I'll be here for a while." She's like, "Okay, please don't leave." She sprints out of the gym. And I just keep doing my thing, you know, I'm warming up, hitting my stuff, and she comes running back with her son. And she comes up and she's like, "We watch Big Brother together every episode, every season. It's like our thing." Wow. He's like 9, 10.
Wow.
Every summer we watch Big Brother together. And she's like, "He is your biggest fan." Wow. And I'm like, "Man, like, well, you know, that's amazing, bro. Thanks for the support." You know, I'm asking about his life, whatever. We take a photo, and you know, I give him a hug and whatever. And you know, he walks away. His dad takes him off, and his mom stays behind. And she goes, "I just want you to know that you know, he's 9, 10, 11, whatever, and he's been struggling with his mental health, and he gets bullied at school, and he's been we've had some issues with self-harm, and it's been hard on our family. It's been devastating and causing us to ask, where did we go wrong in our parenting?" And she goes, "I just want you to know that we watched how you responded on that season, and it's given him hope that the way that he gets bullied at school, he doesn't have to respond, and he can have the courage and confidence to not listen to what the bullies have to say about him." And I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, let me go light myself on fire real quick. Like, that's right. I am just in a puddle of, I can't believe that amounted to that. And the testimony after story of people who have responded, DMs, coming up in person, whatever it may be, of people who have said, like, "You don't understand the example that you set, because I deal with people who treat me poorly, who bully me, who talk negatively about me, and you have inspired me, encouraged me, to give me the courage to understand the fact I don't have to listen to it."
That is what I wanted to make sure wasn't missed, as the beginning of this conversation was kick rocks. But there really is it was one of the first things I said to you when you came off the show. It's like, the Matt I knew, and again, the Matt I know is, and very outgoing, very social. I did not think you would do harm in the reality TV Big Brother world at all. I thought it was very fitting. Like, you can handle that space and that publicity well. The thing that hurts a lot of people is their authenticity, who they were and who they become. And throughout that entire, just being on reality TV nonetheless, but also from having such a dramatic moment, painful moment, a frustrating moment, a hurtful moment, an attack, staying so authentic. And so I think it's really cool to hear that, you know, there's stories that you get to hear. I mean, because that's rare, right? Especially in a world where publicity and like the amount of followers you have and the amount of engagement you have, it's very hard to get to each individual and hear their story. But you got to hear one and hear how your story indirectly was directly helping their story. And that's really cool, man. It's really cool.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's the hope that you have. And dude, I would take that moment is worth more to me than $750,000, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And the fact that that moment inspired one 10-year-old's life in a way that could have altered their life and their future, I would trade that in for the money every single time. Like, my biggest hope for this podcast is that people who come for the reality TV stuff stay because they're wrestling and processing some theme or controversy or thought that's stirring in their heart and soul about how to continue to move forward. We're sitting here talking a lot about Big Brother, a lot about my experience on reality TV, but what I hope people stay for is, because this is a resource. it's educational.
Yeah.
It's something where I've titled this podcast Figuring It Out, because dude, in the reality of that situation, even specifically, I only could respond the way I responded, which was gracefully and with forgiveness, with peace.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to last episode, I had went through the pain and the betrayal and the hurt that I had with what happened in my previous relationship and previous best friend. If I had never gone through that, I would have never been prepared for that moment. And 100%. I would have responded. I would have bit back. I would have fought.
100%.
That's how I'm wired.
100%.
But where would I be today if I had done that? Probably not standing in the place where I am now.
Yeah.
And if I had never gone through that before, and that's why I said this in the last episode, and I'll say it again, I wish I could go back and tell Matt, who was going and suffering through that situation, if you just knew what was on the other side of you going through this, you would be going through it with joy. You'd be going through it with hope. If you just knew that this is a girl who treated you terribly and an old friend who lives a terrible life anyway and is jealous of you and is only doing this to spite you, that if you going through this situation of bad people, which I'm going to let you know, this is how we don't let people like that in the future. That is the low-hanging fruit. But what I'm going to teach you is the fact that you going through this right now is going to help you deal with this huge situation on national television that I am going to bless you with. And I'm going to use you in this situation to inspire so many people, which I hope is through that situation and through this podcast for months and years to come. And you know, the ironic thing about it all is that is the beauty of the humanity behind that situation, right? People got to say, how in the world could this young man respond the way that he did? Was somebody who had to face the things of what that crazy lady said to him and attacked him with. How can this young man at such a young age deal with the situation like he did and continue to forgive her, continue to like try to, you know, settle that situation? How could this man do that? The irony of it all, bro, is the fact that that's the humanity side of it. The outside of that is the fact that people still want to see me on TV because they feel like I was robbed. Yeah. And I'm so thankful for every single person who, even to this day, there's a mystery house guest on Big Brother 27. People are like, it's Matt. And I'm getting DMs on DMs on DMs on DMs of people being like, tell us that. We hope that it's you. And I'm telling you, bro, multiple shows have reached out to me already about going on their show because people enjoyed how I responded. And so back to what we were talking about earlier, you don't have to be dramatic to be entertaining. And I refuse, and I hope this podcast, my life, is an example that being controversial and dramatic is not the only way to propel yourself forward and to create opportunities for yourself. That is an absolute lie, specifically behind reality TV, that I'm willing to shine a light on, because I would have brought so much entertainment and conflict. I would have went to war. I would have argued. I would have came at people, but it would never would have been about hate. It never would have been about doing something like spiteful. It always would have been within the game. That lady made it past that because she never took the opportunity to just settle it and resolve it now that the game is over. She has yet to apologize to me this day. I didn't even save her number in my phone. Like, she has tried to stand on her business because she thinks that the drama will continue to propel her forward. And I'm here and here to talk about it because I don't want to be a proponent of the fact that that is true and that's accurate and that's how people should live their lives. The fact about reality TV is that it's supposed to be a depiction of reality. It's called reality TV. Right. It's supposed to be a like relatable, entertaining viewership of the fact that I can relate to the person I'm seeing on the screen right now and so forth. I go into my life subconsciously or consciously taking away the themes and the things I've seen from engaging in watching this show, this movie, this series, whatever it may be. What I will not stand for is the fact that you get to treat people that way and get more opportunities. And this lady will get more opportunities because she was so, toxic and dramatic. let her have it, bro. Let her have it, because I promise you, she will never, ever outdo what is on my side from not only being obedient to the life that I feel like I was called to live by God, but also for the fact of standing for what's right.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I'm passionate about the fact that here in 2025, and for people listening to this podcast, and for the community of people that I've built through my social media, my following, that we're building a community of people who are going to say, I'm standing up to say, what is entertaining can coexist with what's good, and can coexist with what's right. And you don't have to be attacking to people and toxic and scandalous in order to be entertaining. Wow. And I believe that to my core.
Wow, that is good. And it's definitely the theme of this conversation. But I think, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, I think the purpose of this podcast is kind of the same thing. I know it's called Figuring It Out, but almost the tagline should be entertain without the drama. You're just a person. You're just human. If you're a human being, this podcast is probably for you, right? Because there's going to be so many levels of life. We get it. You were on reality TV. You've got a lot of followers. You're full-time in the social media space, but you're still dealing with life, and you're still figuring it out, and you're still trying to balance what is good versus what is entertainment, and make sure you hold on to that, where a lot of people in the entertainment space don't hold on to what is good and what is entertaining. And so I think in this podcast, and the first two episodes have definitely been the context, the introduction, who is Matt before the show, who was Matt on the show, and obviously diving into who is Matt after the show from here on out. But there's going to be so many people that enter this podcast, no matter their standing in the celebrity aspect, no matter how many reality TV shows they've been on at this point, no matter how many followers they may have, every single one of them is going to have the common notion that they're just figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I think the theme here is you made a decision to stay authentic. You decided that you can be entertaining, and clearly there's a group, there's a following, there's producers, there's a large mass of people, there's brands that believe you can be entertaining and good for their business because you're entertaining and good. And I think that is awesome. I think that's super dope.
Yeah, and there will be more opportunities to become because of that. And that is what every hater of mine hates to admit, is like the opportunity, dude, the experience I've had since being on the show has been once in a lifetime. The stuff I've got to experience. And I mean, I was just a normal guy. I mean, I laid it out in the last episode. Like, I'm a normal guy I'm not an influencer. I'm not a model. I'm just a normal guy working a normal job who ended up in this weird, crazy world and opportunity, which I believe is because I made the decisions that I made and I did things the right way.
Yeah.
And nobody will convince me otherwise. I believe I made hard decisions that God looked down and said, I can entrust you with more because of that, because you'll be faithful.
Yeah.
And I'm walking in the fruit of all of that. I mean, if you look at just what's transpired since the show, I mean, I was the first evicted from our season. I was on the show for 10 days. I got to meet Mackenzie.
Yeah.
And we've been dating today 8 months.
Wow, man.
And dude, the beauty of like our relationship together, of all we've got to experience, of opportunities, brands we've worked with, places we've traveled.
Right.
Bro, I've gone on more flights in the last 6 months than like in the last 25 years.
Right.
I mean, I can't even believe it. Like, it has been unbelievable. And I am so thankful. And I wouldn't change anything, man. Like, there's things I wish I did differently in the game. And I believe I have a lot to contribute to reality TV still. And I believe I'll get that opportunity 100%. One day. I think my fans, my supporters, which I'm so thankful for and have been so encouraging and have no idea the backbone it's given me to just be able to be like, I went through a hard scenario. I wrestled with somebody who really came at me, and I have a huge following of people who are like, not on our watch.
Yep.
And I mean, every single day, bro, to this day, it's almost a year removed from that situation, and I cannot walk into public without somebody coming up.
Yep.
If we were to go get dinner at
Yep.
some freaking random restaurant, I can almost guarantee you, like,
Yep.
if I go to anything public, any
It's
public
happened.
setting,
It's happened plenty of times.
I mean, I can't even wrap my mind around how
Yeah.
many people come up and just have been so gracious, and I'm thankful that they do so, because I was an encouraging representative of what they got to see. And there will be more opportunities on reality TV because of that.
100%.
And I still want to compete.
Come
I
on now.
still want to go to war.
Come on now.
I still will enter into conflict, but I will never cross the boundaries of trying to ruin somebody's freaking life.
Yeah.
And that was unfair.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is. And basically, I feel like we're in not a battle now, but it's just kind of like I'm doing my thing.
Right.
Everybody's doing their thing. And like, man, I'm so proud of the fact that I am where I am. My mom's proud. My family's proud. My community's proud. And again, I've stepped into more stuff that I
Yeah.
can't even believe in the last year than ever before. So
This stuff comes about when you are authentic, when you're good, and sometimes when you go to boot, scooting, and hooting, whatever it was called.
Boot,
and,
scoot, boogie night.
oh my goodness! And some lady comes up to you and gives you the opportunity. It's been really cool. I knew Matt before this. I knew that version of you, and it's been really cool that I can say this version afterwards is still the Matt I knew. Right? It's the same person, just living in a different, climbing a different ladder, living in a different sphere, but it's the same exact Matt, that authenticity that you carry through. And I echoed it in the first episode. I'll echo it now, man. It's been cool to see.
I appreciate that, man. And it's been the best, man. I mean, I would encourage anybody, like, I went on reality TV and I was a random person. I ended up with an amazing relationship. I ended up, you know, with a life change. Like I quite literally went from like 3,000 followers to like 94,000. People say like, he went on to be an influencer. I'm sitting here thinking like, you think I ever thought I would get
Right.
above 4,000? Like, that's crazy.
Right.
So I walk every day just in gratitude of like what God's done in my life. And I'm so thankful. And if anything, I'm so thankful that I got that opportunity to transition me into the next ones where I hope to help people. And I hope to continue to tell my story. We talked about it in the last episode, but it's like, dude, there's so many themes of like what I had to go through in the church world, what I had to go through in faith, what I had to go through in upbringing, with racial indifference, with relationships, with dating, with betrayal, with trust and hurt and dating. I mean, in the future episodes, we're going to talk about having to date in the public realm, what that's been like, and how to look for the right things in other relationships. Like, I hope if you're listening that this becomes a resource that if you're a mom or if you're have kids, like this is something you would want to send to your kids, but you yourself are also entertained by that. It's something so shareable because you know people right now as you're listening that have gone through things that are difficult and hurtful and harmful, and they need a resource for hope. And that's why I've titled this Figuring It Out.
Just figuring
It's
it
like,
out.
I don't have it figured out.
Right.
Just because I have followers on Instagram, I was on reality TV, that doesn't mean I have anything figured out.
Right.
It's just a matter of the fact that I'm figuring it out, and I'm creating this because I wanted to be a space for people like you and I onward, and people that we have on the podcast to just have conversations to be like, you were in a really unique situation experience, but here's how it's so relative to what people are going through in their own context, in their own everyday life. And at the end of the day, whether you're on reality or TV or not, you, even from my situation of that conflict on the show, can take away themes from it and think to yourself like, man, am I going through something so conflicting and so difficult, and I can respond and heal as opposed to fight. And that's what I hope people take away from this. And that's what I hope this is in the future.
You know that I think there's going to be a lot of guests on this podcast and conversations you have with people in all different spheres, all different walks of life. I think it's as cheesy as it is to say it, but it's the name of the dang podcast, man.
Yeah.
We're all just figuring it out, and it's cool that we're going to get to do it together and share it with whoever's listening.
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful for everybody who came in to listen today.
Come on now.
And I hope that you know that
Stay
we don't have
tuned.
it figured out. None of us have it figured out. We're going to continue to have conversations with people who are figuring it out about things we are figuring out. So thank you for being here, and I hope you continue to like and subscribe and comment. That's the best way to continue to support us. And we will see you next for episode 3. We'll see who we have on. Who knows?
Come on, you never know.
You never know.
Mackenzie?
We'll see. Love you guys.
Boom. Come on now.